What is your job and how much do you get paid? Master of the Custodial Arts. $17. 50 hours. Some men just want to watch the world sparkle. Officer on a container ship, work about 6 months out of the year and make about $120K. For the most part my job is looking out a window at some waves. Do you enjoy what you do? If I could go back I think this is what I'd want. But I would imagine work-life balance is awful, having a family if applicable. I do enjoy it, just being on the water is relaxing. It's better as a young single guy not really having any expenses and then being off with no commitments for a few months at a time. I don't plan on doing it forever, as having a family would be difficult. Just doing it for enough years to experience things and set myself up early with no debts and maybe a house. I don't plan on doing it forever, neither did I, but 20 plus years later I'm still doing it. It's hard to transition to a shoreside job unless you're an engineer or go back to school for a different degree. If you plan on leaving the industry, do it while you're young, because it gets a lot more complicated when you have a house or other monetary commitments. It gets a lot more complicated when you have a house or other monetary commitments. The sweet spot is to make a lot of money when you're young but not get accustomed to living like you make a lot of money. Use all that money you make when you're young to save up and buy a paid-off house, and you'll be golden when you're middle-aged. As someone who knows some guys who got jobs in the Alberta oil industry in the mid-2000s, that means no cocaine or prostitutes, even if all your friends are doing it. The blown opportunities I've heard of are nuts. 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, starting over $100,000 fresh out of school, you work like a madman but have no expenses, and then they fly you anywhere in the world. And people come out of it broken and poor with nothing to show for it. Teacher in Zimbabwe, $150 used per month. Edit. Thank you guys so much for the messages and awards. Feels great to be appreciated. $150 is not enough in Zimbabwe. We're just living by day like birds. Political and economic situation is very bad. Edit. Let me give you guys a rough breakdown of my monthly expenses. Water bill $20, electricity bill $20, rent $30 per room, groceries, food $60, funeral policy $6 per person, medical aid can't afford, kids school fees $120 every 3 months, data $20 for 8, transport $15, car insurance $40 every 4 months, so most of the times 1 or 2 things are lagging behind. It's a hard life. I do whatever needs to be done around the warehouse that doesn't require a forklift. $19 hour. Any reason you don't have a forklift license? If there is no medical reason, seems like a good way to boost your pay rate once experienced. I'm actually in the same position. I'm a still operator, but I do a lot around the plant as long as it doesn't involve forklift. I can get forklift certified anytime I want, but it seems like every time someone gets fired here, it involves a forklift. No, thanks. Edit. It's only a 25-cent increase where I work. I work at a recycling plant. I get $35 an hour to stand at a conveyor belt picking out glass. Edit. Should have stated when I wrote the comment that I live in Australia, so that would be $25 used roughly. While I have people's attention, I would like to use this platform to ask people to please be mindful of what goes into your recycling bins. Diapers, food and plastic wrappers do not belong in the recycling bin. I'm a farmer. My earnings are flirting with the breadline, but I have very little bills and my life is overall very happy and fulfilling. Edit. Thanks for the awards, guys. Edit 2, just for context. I'm talking small farm. Olive grove with ancient trees on the side of a mountain, a veggie patch and all sorts of fruit trees and bushes. No, I'm not in the US and I don't receive government subsidies. No, I don't own huge farming equipment. I do have a small oil mill which I love. I don't have a tractor either. It would be useless on terraced land. I sell my products at the farmer's market and to small shops around my area, not to the food industry. Edit 3, my office view for those interested. It's not much, but it's honest work. I am a paraprofessional in an elementary school. I spend most of my time in a self-contained kindergarten, 5th grade classroom of mostly non-verbal students with autism. Occasionally I float to other classrooms. I make around $20K a year. I love my job, but the pay is insulting. You can mow lawns and make more than that. I'm here scouting for jobs with good pay. Me too. Not having super reassurance. I work in a steel mill that heats steel bars to a certain hardness. I get paid $18 an hour and so far we haven't had anyone die for a year, That's a record. Work for a family of iron foundries. We had our first death in my 11 years here 2 years ago and it was awful. The death itself was not particularly gruesome, but the crap around it was. It was not our employee, it was a temp. He was doing something he shouldn't and was pinned by a casting and had a heart attack before he could be released. We notified the temp agency who refused to either contact his family or allow us to do the same. We didn't have that information made available to us, they didn't find out until the next day. They are of course our ex-temp agency. The family was rightly super pissed. This just adds to my hatred of temp agencies. UPS package sorter at a warehouse, $22 an hour plus time and a half pay for anything over 5-hour shift in a single day. So for example, one shift is 5 hours. If I work 2 shifts in a row, the second one would be $33 an hour, unlimited overtime too. So if I really wanted to, I could triple shift every day for an entire week. That would be like 15 hours straight every day working though, and get a month's worth of money in a single check. EMT 15 hours edit. You guys need to realize, I'm on the high end. 15 hours is starting wage here and that's freaking nuts. I seriously met a guy who worked 20 plus years as an advanced EMT over in Tennessee and he was legit making $10.50 an hour. The dude was 48 on, 24 off. Actually, y'all think I'm doing rough? Check out Wildland Firefighters, haha. I work at a small tech company doing any random thing they want. I make $90K. Any technical expertise? Google. I remember talking to Summit support guy at my company and as we went on I just straight up told him something along the lines of you must really know your stuff to be able to support the infrastructure around here. He went on to tell me that he didn't know shit but was really good at using Google. I don't think he was entirely joking either. It's not a joke. But the skill is knowing what to Google. This is definitely the case. Googling my internet is broke isn't going to get you very far, but Googling something like no signal on Ethernet port is a good start and then you can refine it from there. I started out on it back before there was such a thing as the internet and so the entire industry relied on knowing your shit with a healthy dose of a buddy of mine ran into a problem like this. I'll call him up and see if he remembers how he fixed it. I'm a bum and get $120 a week donating plasma, but plot twist, I have an interview at the plasma place tomorrow. Edit. I want to thank everyone for the outpouring support in the comments. I'm doing my best to respond to everyone. It's good to know Therese nice people out there. Update, I went to the interview, they called and asked to push it back to 3 p.m. which was completely fine as they had gotten their truck in. The interview went well, and I answered the questions as best as I could. They said it would be full-time Monday to Friday 1 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. and every other weekend 6 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. starting at $13 to $14 an hour. I hope to hear back from them in the next few days, as they mentioned getting my ID, social security card, and high school diploma so they could make copies. I want to thank everyone again for the support and well wishes going into this interview. I appreciate each and every one of you. Much love. Best comment here. Good luck, homie. I like how Reddit is the place where 100 Kier and $4 hour people meet. I think, outside the Chinese restaurant, this is the only place these two groups meet. It's always nice to see the higher paid users appreciate the work of and offer advice to the lower paid users in the same fields, especially when that advice is you're underpaid, do this to fix it. Solidarity among colleagues. CDL truck driver doing roll-off dumpsters for $20 HR. 13-year-old here. I take out the trash and take out of the dishwasher at home and get paid $78 a month or $936 a year by my mom. Private jet captain. Varies with overtime, but this year will be around $360,000. Well, damn, hell yeah. Sounds like you are trying to become a jet captain? I am now Lamau. All you have to do is pay for pilot training. Then pay to get hundreds of hours of flying experience. Total cost $100,000 or more. Then get paid minimum wage to be a new pilot at some small private air company. After 10 years you can work your way up to making decent money. There is a pilot shortage because the high-end pay is great but you have to pay a ton of money just to get started and entry pay is terrible.